I think Germ is underestimating the amount of fetishists that are gonna watch this. Should I grab a glass of milk?
I'm gonna grab milk.
Okay, I'm getting milk.
Yes.
I need milk.
We're gonna have weird requests. Like, hey, can you guys drink some more milk during the episode? Hello and welcome to the Lunchbox. And today we are reviewing season 2 of The Boys, episodes 1, 2, 3. Today I'm joined by Germ, Michelle, and Alex. First, maybe we should just talk about a little bit about season 1. How did you guys feel? Not necessarily a recap, but how did you guys feel about season 1 of The Boys?
I'll go first. I loved it. The thing that was really interesting for me, I tried to watch it twice. So I watched like the first 10 minutes of the first episode and I was like, I hate this. This is weird. I don't want to watch it. And then I revisited it like a month after that. And I was like, I'm just going to commit to the first episode. And then I sped through the rest of it. I thought it was awesome. I've not read the comics, but I think like in terms of the superhero stuff we're seeing, I thought it was a really fresh take on it because it is like the darker side of that universe and like kind of like the collateral, like with the first episode really making that apparent. So anyone who hasn't seen it, like, I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil it. Like someone gets run through by like their version of the Flash. So it's about like the impact that the superheroes have on like the regular day-to-day humans. And I just think that is so awesome. And the show itself is kind of like gritty, I guess. It's not like dark, but it's like gruesome as well. And I like that it doesn't shy away from that.
It definitely maintains a sense of humor that it shouldn't, but it somehow defies those expectations because it's really, I guess dark isn't the word, but very gruesome, very gory. And to me, it's a huge improvement over the comics, which I read some of them, but stopped reading it because like it wasn't. I guess it was a little immature, is what I'm trying to say. Not to trash it. But if you've read Garth Ennis's works, like Preacher's great, but it had like its own infantile sense of humor at times, and it's a bit much. But like The Boys just ramped up the immaturity to just like a level that didn't hold me. But this show definitely does a great job in maintaining like the main theme where like superheroes in a real world probably wouldn't be very nice people, and that makes sense. So I enjoyed the show. It's a well written, well acted, and this season 2, I've been looking forward to it for a long time.
I think you two pretty much hit the nail on the head. Like that's pretty much everything that I wanted to say as well. Mostly about like if I were to imagine superheroes in the real world, yeah, I don't think they would be very good people too. Whereas, you know, all the other stuff that we see with superheroes in superhero shows and movies, they're always like the protagonists, they're always super good, super moral. But yeah, in the real world with so much power and like, unbridled power and anything that you want to do with it, definitely a lot of corruption. And I think The Boys season 1 captures that really well, especially with Homelander and his weird, sick backstory. But yeah, that was really, we will get into that later, obviously. We will be talking about Homelander lots and how he makes us feel. But yeah, very excited for watching season 2 and what's to come next.
Yeah, basically you guys summed it up. If this were to be real life, I think this would, you know, what superheroes would be like. I mean, if I had powers, I'd probably be an asshole. So, you know, not knowing anything from, never reading the comics, just knowing a little bit about it. I love the humor, the goriness, and the overall, you know, tone of season 1. And moving on from that, let's talk about the first 3 episodes of season 2, episode 1, 2, 3, which to me was kind of disappointing because after episode 3, I'm like, fuck, I want more. Yeah. So yeah, who wants to start it off? Just how you guys felt or what you guys liked about the first 3 episodes.
I mean, I'll say I hate that they just released the 3 episodes. Like, honestly, that was so disappointing to me when I found that out. Because I was under the impression, and I don't know if you guys had this impression too, but I thought the whole season was coming out. And I'm sorry, we're still in like a pandemic with quarantine and all that. Give me my season. Like, I need to watch it right now. I don't have the patience for waiting. It's been a while since I've really watched a show like week to week. And I feel like I don't know how the season's going to play out based on my like new way of like watching shows. Like, I like to watch them all in one sitting. Apparently I have the memory of a goldfish now. So like, I don't know what's happening. I don't want to wait a week and forget everything. So I was disappointed about that. And I'll let you guys kind of say other stuff before I say like specifically about what happened in the episodes.
Okay. If I go next, I also hate that they only released 3 episodes, but I think that it was really smart because the way that episode 3 ended, like, you really wanted to know what was going to happen next. And because they only released 3, that's going to really cause the viewers to like be drawn to, you know, getting caught up the next week about the show. Are we allowed to talk about spoilers here right now?
Yeah. Or... Full spoilers.
Okay, cool. So I really loved how they introduced Stormfront. You know, first episode, you know, first 2 episodes, she seemed like so like with it, right? So woke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the 3rd episode, right near the end, completely flipped it on its head. And you're just like, what the is wrong with her? Like, I hate her. I hate this character.
It's crazy how you can flip like your opinion with like that moment. Like,
yeah. But also, like, I feel like a character like her in the real world would also exist, right? You know, be so woke about fighting for women's rights and then also be racist. Like, you totally find people like that IRL. So I thought that was pretty believable, but also like really shocking, and it felt so wrong. But yeah, I like the 3 episodes.
So my concern with the episodes was that the beefing between Huey and Butcher, it was kind of stalling the show. Like I didn't want this to get too drawn out, but it just so happens by the end of the 3rd episode that's settled seemingly, and it's all good. So it's like one of those things where like I feel like the entire 2nd season was about the 2 of them not getting along, but really we're just like in the first like quarter of the show. So that's a good thing. Like a lot of things that needed to have been settled from the 1st season is currently being wrapped up, and you sort of see where it's going in the future. Homelander being a father is a new twist I wasn't expecting, considering his mama issues. Right, but hey, he gets to be this father. Really tough daddy, but no, like someone like the Deep, I enjoy seeing where his character arc is going, although that's probably like the one thing that's the slowest from the 3 episodes section that we've watched. But I'm looking forward to seeing what the Church of the Collective has in store for the team, because it seems like the 3 right-wing pillars are being represented. You have patriotism with Homelander, religion with the Deep, and Stormfront, you know, the white nationalism, you know, the racism. This is stuff nobody really likes to pretend actually, you know, exists. So it's looking very interesting. Like, there's going to be a lot of meat to this, you know, stew of a season.
Well, Alex, I want to ask you, like, I don't know if you remember this from the comics, but I had been told that Stormfront was a Nazi in the comics.
He was a
Do you have... I didn't know about that. I just knew the Nazi thing. So I'm wondering if that's why we're... Not that she's a Nazi in the show, but I think that's why that's kind of where her... like, what she's representing is what it is, to, like, modernize, like, that kind of take, I think.
Yeah,
but...
it's making it, like, it's turning it into, like, a not so cartoonish, like a more realistic version where she will be subdued in front of the cameras, but once the cameras are off, she's just like hell on earth, like worse than Homelander, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the comics, it was all hokey. Yeah, but really like Nazi stuff coming from Stormfront.
Yeah. To your point, Alex, just then, like, I think right now they're in the midst of setting up Stormfront as being worse than Homelander, right? Like, she's clearly got a beef going on. She's on a little bit of a power trip. Clearly, she's starting to be portrayed as, like, more powerful and, like, more, I guess, more powerful. Like, she's kind of taking the leadership role in the group. Yeah, so that's cool to see how it's going to pan out with her.
I think that secretly, going off on Germ, that they secretly hired her to kind of slowly replace Homelander, because Homelander is sort of kind of starting to lose it, right? Just little bits of things here and there that you're like, this guy's gonna go nuts eventually and start probably murdering everyone. But then you have Stormfront, who is not afraid of Homelander, who could just easily replace him as the leader of the Seven.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is it has something to do with the new sort of head of Vought, Stanley Edgar, I think his name is, played by Giancarlo Esposito.
He's awesome.
Great actor, love that guy. He's awesome. Yeah, he's the best. Thank God he's in the show. But it does seem to be like him placing his own pawn on this chessboard, ready to overtake Homelander, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's trying to be a few steps ahead.
Yeah,
absolutely. I loved season 1 so far. Like, I'm okay with this season. Like, I felt like more like I sat through the episodes and I really was like engaged by them. I kind of, to what Alex had said about the Deep, I think that storyline is really interesting, but it did kind of feel disjointed and it kind of slowed down the rest of the movement. And also the arguments between Huey and Butcher really like just felt off, because one of the things I loved so much about the first season was like how ragtag the boys were, that they still were like a cohesive unit and worked well together. And I kind of like that like parallel with the Seven of how like they hate each other and they're horrible, but they still like work together and they're still like quote unquote a family. And I think it's interesting to see like both of these like parallel families falling apart and what that looks like. But it just feels so different from the previous season to me that I'm not sure what's like where it's going to really grab me. But of course, like the end of this like third episode, I was like, okay, like I'm curious. I don't love all the characters and I don't feel as like connected to them as I feel like I did in the first season, but like I need to know the havoc that Stormfront is going to wreak, because I know it's going to be aggressive and horrible.
Okay, so I think this is a good way to segue into point number 3, characters we like or don't like, right? Because Michelle, you already started talking about Stormfront just now, right? Do you want to shed light on what you think of her and some of the other characters?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I don't like her or anything she stands for, but I feel like it was a really interesting choice because we had seen Homelander be really built up as this like uber powerful, super crazy. Like he is the worst of the worst. Like he is a nightmare. And then to have her just kind of come in as this like silent opposition to him. And then in that third episode, really see her be like, actually, no, like I'm not just like here, like I'm here to make a mark, I'm here to make a statement. And like it's horrible and what she's doing is freaking atrocious, and I'm actually like so nervous for the characters because of it. But I thought that was like a really powerful move, and like her character is terrifying in a way that Homelander isn't, because Homelander seems so unhinged and unpredictable, which is scary in its own right. But I feel like she's like a calculated evil, which we haven't necessarily seen from a super at this point, because they're more just like going, doing weird stuff, being dumb, being on drugs. Like she's calculated and smart and evil. So like I'm excited to see kind of where that goes, and it makes me nervous.
No, I was just gonna say, isn't that the lawful evil that as they call in the character sheets? All right, I know some of it. Yeah. Continue.
Well, you know how.
Okay. How about this? Okay. Sorry. I'm just gonna throw my favorite character, like low key favorite character, brand new of this season, is the Deep's Gills. That was amazing. That was Patton Oswalt doing a great job. Loved the singing. Loved how the Gills brought it all together for the Deep, and yeah, It was
Okay, I was just
unexpected,
gonna ask that because I was like, the Gil's voice sounds very familiar, and I'm like, who is this? I didn't bother to check, but it's like it's Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, yes, it
Cool.
is.
Amazing.
I could tell right away. I'm like, wait a second, this is Patton Oswalt. Totally.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
I think that's the Gil thing was an interesting choice for the Deep because like season 1, like I hated him. I still like, I don't think I'll ever not hate him, but I thought it was like almost a nicer way to make him try to redeem himself. Cause like, obviously like I think he's trash and everything he's done is just garbage and he's horrible to women. But if you're going to try to like make that character sympathetic, I thought that was a really interesting way to do so, of like really having it like an internal struggle / external because he's being talked to by his own Gils.
Mhm.
But like that struggle of like, here's why, like I'm afraid of being hurt. So I hurt people, which is like at the end of the day, like any type of bully's mentality, realistically, like it comes from a place of hurt. And I thought it was a really interesting way for them to kind of explore that for like a character that just, I don't know, stupid, weird Aquaman dude. Like, I don't know. And like, I don't know, but I think it's going in an interesting direction for him for sure.
Mhm. I think that's a good way for the writers to create likability for the Deep's character, right? Because I think probably a lot of people can relate to, you know, being afraid of hurting someone. Oh, sorry, being afraid of being hurt, so they hurt people first, right? But yeah, I think his character is going to be really interesting too. I kind of wanted to talk about Kumiko because we haven't really talked about her yet. I was really sad to see her brother die, but that connection that they had, the way that they were signing to each other, like, I really felt that, and I'm so excited to see her basically destroy Stormfront and like kill her mercilessly.
He gave her that look, man. That look.
The look, that final look when like
man.
like Stormfront looks into the camera and then Kimiko's watching the TV, like that, the fire coming from like
Yeah.
you could see it, like it was so intense. It was
Mhm. She's sick. Yeah, because we haven't really seen the full extent of Kumiko's powers yet, right?
Mhm.
We know that she can, you know, snap necks and all that stuff, but we don't know how powerful she is yet. I don't think.
Yeah.
Correct
And
me
seeing
if
how
I'm
powerful
wrong.
her brother was, like, I think she's going to be real powerful.
Mhm.
Like, he maybe was more trained than she was. So I think she, upon exploring her powers, can just be, I don't know, kind of level the playing field for both sides.
Yes.
She has that
Didn't she-
Wolverine kind of vibe, no?
Oh, yeah.
Like, does there anybody kind of see that
She-
where, like, power-wise, similar? Because you know how Black Noir pretty much killed her, and then she kind of just regenerates from, or you know, doesn't
Mhm.
die from it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she has the slashing moves, more like
Mhm.
Wild Child, I guess. But nobody really knows who Wild Child is,
I do.
except for Alex.
Yeah,
I
there you
don't.
go.
As for the new additions, I really love Aya Cash as Stormfront and Giancarlo Esposito. They bring so much to an already stacked cast who are very good. I like that Giancarlo Esposito just stands up to Homelander. Here's a dude that will burn you, rip you in half, and you're like just standing there, just almost, asking him to go ahead and
Completely
try.
unthreatened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfazed.
That's scary. I think the fact that he's unfazed, I was like, oh shit, this
Well,
guy's not scared.
It makes me think, like, what does he have up his sleeve? Like,
Of
does
course.
he have powers? Like, that was kind of where my mind went. Because I'm like,
Mhm.
at this point, if they can manufacture powers in children, does he have a lot of powers, which is why he doesn't care? Or does he just have that much power in the sense of, like, the company and the world that he doesn't care? Like,
Mhm.
the not knowing why he's unfazed stresses me.
Yeah.
It's that big dick energy.
The BDE.
Yeah.
Big dick CEO energy.
Yeah.
Guys, can we talk about Huey? Because I actually can't stand him. I can't stand him. He's just, I think that he's so naive for the situation that he's in. Like, him just picking up the phone and saying all this incriminating shit to Starlight. I'm like, do you want to get her killed? Like,
Yeah.
what do you, you're my second wind.
I
Like,
hated that.
I was like,
I was like, why you gotta do Billy Joel like that?
I know.
And they're just
I
like
agree.
telling him, why are you doing this? And then he's still doing it.
Yeah. The thing that surprised me with the naivety, naivete, yeah, that word, was that a lot of the characters seem to be that way. So when it was on the news that the compound V is manufacturing, like, is making babies have powers, and they're like, we got them, we did it. I'm like, are you dumb? Like, I'm sorry, it's gonna take more than the news to stop this global corporation. Like, get your heads out of your butts. Like, that's not the case. So I was kind of like, I thought that was an interesting scene where Butcher comes in and was like, cool, good job, like, whatever. And I'm like, that is the reaction that you probably should have. It's not like, yeah, we won, we beat. No, you didn't do anything. Like, you just stirred the pot more.
Yeah, sorry, Huey's definitely become like my least favorite character this season. Just like standing in the way of common sense, and even of Butcher, although Butcher's shady in his own right, but like you expect that from Butcher. But Huey's just not helpful. He's pretty dumb. Yeah.
I was just gonna be like, leave him in the whale. Just leave him there.
Oh man,
Honestly,
he
that
doesn't
pissed
want
me
to come
off.
out. Leave him there.
Yeah.
That pissed me off. He had like his emo moment in the whale, like, oh, just leave me here,
Just
guys.
leave
Oh, I just want to listen to My Chemical Romance. Like, dude, you're inside a whale. Seven is after you, and you're just like, thank you.
Exactly.
I'm also a little bit disappointed so far with Butcher's character in this season. I feel like he's become more one-dimensional because, yes, his motivations in the first season were like finding his wife or like avenging his wife and everything related to her. I feel like that like one-mindedness of him, like, I just need to get my wife, I don't care about anything else, get out of my way, like kind of has taken away from like the charm of his character before, because he was kind of unpredictable in what he was going to do, and now it's like he's just going head first into that situation. And I was a little bit disappointed. I'm hoping like that now that he doesn't have the brother and like the terrorist to like hand over, he's gonna have to like be creative and actually like do the things that we loved him for in the first season, where he's like coming up with these weird plans that like kind of half thought through but kind of half not. And like I want to see that fun element again.
Okay, I was just going to say real quick that we haven't really seen much action in the first 3 episodes, save the last one at the very end. And I was waiting for that, and it wasn't even that exciting. But anyways, excited to see more action scenes and like more displays of, their powers, really.
Yeah. I feel like they've done more gore but less action. Like, I don't know if that's how you felt. Like, I was startled when the ladies' head exploded. Like, that got me so hard. Also, like, I was watching the episode while I was on the treadmill and, like, literally almost fell off. It was dangerous because I was just, like, so focused. I was like, yeah, it's an important scene. Like, walk. And then I was like, oh, my God. But it felt so, like, we don't have answers for that. We're not sure. It's just, like, head explosion, guts. Like, the amount of time we've seen them covered in blood already this episode or this season is alarming when there hasn't been that much fighting yet.
And I think it's the, I guess, the beauty of the non-binging element of this, where you have to wait a week, is that you think what's going to happen is there going to be more action? You know what I mean? It's like, because when you binge it, everything is there. I mean, I like binging. I wanted to binge it if it was available, but this makes you think more. And because when you binge a show, you talk about it a lot for a week. The way this is designed now is that you're going to keep talking about that episode for 1 week, and then the next episode, so it prolongs it, which is good, I guess, for the show.
Yeah. Makes space for more hype.
Yeah.
What about what's Homelander's son's name? What's his little son's name?
Oh, I forgot that dude's name.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Ryan? He has powers.
Yes.
I wasn't surprised.
Right? No, I don't think anyone was, but it's going to be interesting how he learns to use them, I guess. Because, I mean, I was really scared for, I'm forgetting all the name. Is it Becca?
Yeah.
Rebecca, yeah.
Butcher's wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really, because I was really scared for her seeing Homelander, like her rapist, living with her, talking to her child. Like, what is she to do? But now that Ryan has powers, maybe he can f his dad up. That's what I really want to see.
Or at the least they can escape, hopefully.
Yeah.
That would be really cool to see, like, the little kid team up with, like, I don't know, Starlight and fight. Yeah. Like, I don't know. That'd be really cool.
That would be really cute. Which
is, I guess, kind of a good segue to predictions for the season, like where it's going to go. Because I'm going to go first because I have a hot take on the son.
Okay.
I think it's still Butcher's son, just injected with Compound V. It's not actually Homelander's son.
Oh, wow.
So
what makes you say
when
that?
Homelander finds this out, that's probably the final straw for him to go nuts. It's what I think.
I never even considered that. That's that would be pretty mind-blowing.
I think Lou's prediction actually makes a lot of sense, right? Because if Homelander was fighting for the fact that, oh, Ryan, you're my son, of course you have powers because they're inherited, but we found out that they're not because everyone's just been injected with this Compound V, right? Mm-hmm. So based on the science, if we know that it's not inherited, it must be injected, right? And so if that's the case, then it might be Butcher's son just injected with Compound V. I don't know. That makes sense to me. I don't know if that.
And the fact that they kept lying to him throughout the whole thing about origins and all that, about Rebecca, they just lied to Homelander straight up.
Yeah. Or maybe it's his kid, but he didn't inherit powers. He was injected. And therefore, he could have had powers that are not Homelander's powers. So he could have, like, so much more going on that we haven't seen yet. Like, that could change the scope of what his potential powers are.
Yeah. That's possible too, for sure. What else are we predicting? Anyone else have predictions?
That was my one hot take.
I don't know if this is like a legit prediction, but I feel like this might happen at some point if Stormfront is going to be the racist bee that she is. She's going to have some type of altercation with A-Train, right? That would just make sense. Unless she just hates Asian people. Like, I don't know where the line is of how racist and horrible she is. But if that's the case, I think that could be really interesting to see, like, A-Train kind of flip. Because we're seeing him kind of have this, like, back and forth with Starlight. Mm-hmm. And I think it could be interesting for him to be like, you know what? Like, I'm actually against what's happening now because I've been through all of this crazy shit. My girlfriend's dead because I killed her and I'm dying of heart attacks. Like, I don't know. That could be interesting to see him used in a different way.
I think the Deep and A-Train are going to end up being good guys. Part of the boys. Or, like, helping the boys. Sorry, Alex, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No problem. I'm going to counter Michelle's prediction by saying instead she's not going to quarrel with A-Train, but instead she's going to quarrel with Queen Mav, or Maeve, however you pronounce her name, because as the most prominent woman on the team. And since when the cameras are on, she's all about girl power and the power of feminism, that's pretty much standing in the way of what Queen Mav also pretends to stand for. And since you usually see Homelander and Queen Mav like as the top two in the team, right, like all the celebrity appearances, I think Stormfront is gonna try to cut in between them and be the face next to Homelander, and then eventually overtake Homelander. But yeah, I think big things are in store for Queen Mav, at least for the next like the soonest episodes that are gonna happen.
Well, I think that makes a lot of sense because there was the whole like weird romance situation between Queen Maeve and Homelander that she had kind of alluded to, like she's not allowed to have anyone else, like that's why she was talking to like her ex-girlfriend or whatever. Oh, yeah. And we've seen in the trailer, like I rewatched the trailers, but there's the whole scene between Stormfront and Homelander where she's like, laser my titties. And there's something sexy and sexual happening there. So is that like kind of her way of swaying him because he is looking for that like affection and attention in that way? So maybe like that's kind of how she gets him like more on her side and they become like the top two. with her feminine wiles and such. Yeah.
She just needs some milk. That's it. That's gonna get him.
Can we talk about that? Can you just guys, the milk.
The milk.
Guys,
Want to see kind of, because it shows you in the trailers how Starlight is pretty much kind of probably near the end will be with the boys. You see him kind of fighting, so it's interesting, and I want to see how she actually just breaks off from the 7 and becomes with the boys. So it's another thing I'm waiting for.
I'm waiting for some more of Black Noir. I need to know that
Yes,
secret.
that was cool.
Like everything about him. Yeah, the opening of this season was just him killing people and just withstanding this blast that left him like charred, part of his body just burnt. And and apparently has a soft spot for kids.
Yeah, what's his
Which is
deal?
funny because somebody
exactly.
told me that in the comics he cannibalizes children.
Oh no!
Oh,
So when that scene with the rabbit or the bunny, I was like, oh crap! But they didn't show it, right? But someone told me, I'm not sure if it's a real thing, but someone says he eats children. So there you go, Black Noir, baby.
That far. Yeah.
oh my goodness gracious!
Because these guys are messed up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, isn't there a normal hero anywhere? Like, you would, like, I don't know, I was having this, like, obviously, the world is full of shitty humans, but also, I think, decent or okay people also. And if all of these children are being injected, how are so many of them turning out so horribly crazy? Like, out of a team of 7 and or 8, because we don't know, like, what Lamplighter's deal was, but, like, there's 8 of them now. Like, there have been. And 7 out of 8 are some type of weird. Or at least, like, in Queen Maeve's case, I'd say, like, she's going along with it. Like, I don't think she's necessarily doing it, but she is participating in it. And I think that makes her just as guilty in this case. But I'm like, how is it just Starlight? Like, maybe Blind Spot, like, the guy with the hearing would have been a good time, and that's why he got mushed in the head.
That was brutal.
That hurt. Like,
So
poor
brutal.
guy. I knew Homelander was going to do something, but, like, that was a lot. That was, yeah. I don't know. Lou?
Oh, yeah. And I think this is, I guess, a prediction that would go past this season is that, you know how you were said, is there any decent one? I think, also, I haven't read the comics, but I think Jensen Ackles, Soldier Boy, would be one of those people or heroes that are actually good. He's the original.
I love him.
The original superhero in this world, so maybe he's the good one.
Mm-hmm.
Or just
I
the
wouldn't
worst
bet on
asshole.
it.
Or the
I would
worst
not bet on it because
asshole.
he also plays like the bad boy really well. So I feel like he's gonna be a jerk, just like naturally. Like after seeing him on Supernatural so much, like my heart, he was a large part of my childhood. But like, oh my god, I'm so excited for him. I love him so much.
And that is our recap of episode 1 to 3 of The Boys Season 2. Once again, I'm joined by Michelle, Alex, Germ. Please check out the rest of our social medias down below, and you can also have us invade your ear holes. We are on our podcast. We are on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Stitcher, I think. We'll be on all of them, whatever. And to end it off, we'd like to honor Homelander.
I can't do it.
Breast milk.
Mother's milk.
You gotta just dip the tongue in there.